ANC preparing for its policy conference due to get underway at Nasrec tomorrow. Several thousand delegates are expected to voice their opinion on some of the key issues facing the country and the governing party. Our reporter Tumaole Mohlaoli watching preparations already. He joins us from Nasrec. Tumaole, good afternoon to you. Let's start with the issues of service delivery and particularly the provision of electricity. We know it's been a problem in terms of just generating electricity. It's also a problem getting electricity to people who need it.
Well, that's correct, Stephen. And one is just taken back to the gala dinner that was here just last night that was addressed by ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa. And he says that although he realizes that there are some quarters who find the call for the privatization of power as Eskom to be unpopular, that there seems to be no way forward in terms of trying to turn around the cash-strapped and, of course, the struggling power utility. He says that the rolling blackouts have been something of a disaster to the economy and just compound an already exacerbated unemployment crisis in the country. Although Ramaphosa says that the ANC delegates here will debate those issues around the power utility, that debate should be about finding solutions and not necessarily politicizing the issue around Eskom. Now, the unions, including NUMSA, also have card-carrying delegates who are members of the ANC, and surely those will also be making their voice heard, because unions like NUMSA have been saying that the country can ill afford to privatize totally Eskom, because this would essentially lead to a bloodbath of jobs, something that the country cannot stand. Of course, with COVID-19 still having a negative impact post-COVID-19 era in terms of the job losses that we've seen right across the economy. So this is where Eskom is. And as far as Eskom goes, of course, there's been those policy discussions that the ANC has released policy documents, something that we have covered in the weeks leading up to the policy conference. And in some of those documents, the power utility and the crisis the nation faces and the economy as a result thereof is central to those documents. And this is what delegates will be discussing. And it's very important as to what the outcome will be, because that will inform who delegates going to the Nasrec, to the end of year elective conference, will be backing. So the delegates will see which candidate they will, or which slate rather, if you will, they will be backing, and trying to get that person to emerge as the new leader of the ANC. So these particular discussions are quite important, particularly around power, Stephen.
About electricity, water still a major problem. You, of course, have spent a lot of time in the Free State, areas like Pututuchaba. There's still huge issues with water there. We see it all the time.
We see it all the time, Stephen, and it's something that has even hit people in the more established areas. Not far from here in the Vaal, there was a huge project that was fixing a pipeline that was run, of course, by the water utility in Joburg Water, in conjunction, of course, with the local municipality, to try and make sure that there's water flowing into Gauteng and other parts of the province. Now, Gauteng was also in the grips of a water crisis. This was just in the early parts of this year and into last year, something that residents of the province weren't necessarily used to. So these are conundrums that, of course, the policy conference and delegates are going to have to try and find solutions to. When we talk about the Free State and the water crisis there, it has affected local businesses. And, of course, this is something that the ANC President Cyril Ramaphosa, in his capacity as ANC President, has been championing, as well as in his capacity is President of the country, when he went on an oversight visit to the Free State quite recently to push what he calls the district development model. Now, without water, many of these small, medium enterprises, which are at the heart of the district development model, will simply collapse, because many of them are, of course, businesses that rely on, for instance, making food, textiles, and without water, they simply cannot operate. When you talk about the Free State, Pututuchaba, they have quite a large textile and factory producing industry there, sector, and large factories. These are quite important to driving employment. The unemployment figures there are quite shocking. And, of course, many are young people who have been laid off. Many of these factories are saying that they have to lay off up to 1,500 people. Already the area is struggling with unemployment, and they say that a lack of consistent power, a lack of water has forced them to shut down. Stephen, when you take it down to critical businesses that need water, you're talking about mortuaries, and they deal, of course, with people who have passed on with corpses, and without water it becomes almost impossible for them, for health reasons, if for nothing else, to keep their businesses running, because they have to now bury people earlier. This has an adverse effect on their finances, and they are also laying people off. So this is some of the discussions that will be dominating what this policy conference will be all about going forward.
Mohlaoli, thank you very much indeed for that update. More, of course, coverage tomorrow and through the weekend.